So in video number 20, I briefly talked about how there are some SAT equations that look more complex than they are. And one of the examples I talked about was where you had an equation, it seemed like you had two equations with two unknowns, or at least one equation with two unknowns. And I said that on those kinds of problems there's usually a shortcut, and that's true. However, sometimes you are given a more traditional systems of equations problem where it's one of these cases where you're given two equations such as a plus 2b equals 1 and minus 3a minus 8b equals 1. So you're given two equations and you've got to solve, say, for a or b or something. In video 20 we showed how sometimes there's a shortcut. Other times you just got to solve it like you would any other system of equation. And what you basically have to do is eliminate one of the variables. And we do that by figuring out, okay, what can I multiply either one of these equations by such that when I add the equations or subtract them, I can eliminate a variable. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at these equations. Here we have a single a. Here we have a minus 3a. So if I multiply this top equation by 3, and that will give me 3a plus 6b equals 3, and then I'll have minus 3a minus 8b equals 1 on the bottom still. If I do that, notice if I add these equations now, just add them up and down like you would any other addition, you'll see that the 3a cancels, and that's what you want. So the key with these is to get a situation in which you can cancel out one of the variables, and you can do that either by multiplying or dividing one of the equations, or sometimes even both of the equations, by some number in order to do that. Okay, so we do that, we get minus 2b equals 4, and therefore b equals minus 2, and then you could plug this b back into either one of the equations to get what a is. In this case, a turns out to be 5. And then you just give them one answer you need. So sometimes these systems of equations come up. They're generally going to be simple. I don't think you're going to see, for instance, 3 equations and 3 unknowns. Actually, I can be very certain you're not going to see something like that. So do be aware that you might have to do this on some SAT problems.